one of the reeling impacts that COVID-19 has had on industries, or one of the industries that's really suffered, is the events industry. And of course, that's because they do rely on physical interaction in order to convene businesses. So weddings, corporate functions, birthdays, all of the events that we all used to go to have now been non-existent for months. Joining us now to discuss the industry and, of course, unpack the industry's impact is the president of the Association of Professional Party Organisers and Event Managers, GBEMISOLA. Many thanks for joining us today on Newsday to look at this in more detail. And there's so much for us to discuss here because the events industry in Nigeria is a large one, as we know, and therefore the impact is unfathomable. But just help us to paint a picture of how affected the events industry in the country has been so far this year.
It's been very, very bad. So what we have is a home. So you have a company, for example, like Omega Events, my company. I have so many people that depend on me for their livelihood. So it's not just me, you know, the owner of the company. We have every staff, from the receptionist to the drapers that work with us, to the ushers, to, I mean, everybody. So you can imagine an industry that has over 1 million companies, and then you have little, you know, other people attached to each company. So you can imagine the large impact of people that are affected by this. It's really bad.
All right, Gbemi, I would like to find out from you, because you've just mentioned direct and indirect investments and businesses that have been affected by this whole pandemic. The aviation sector are saying that probably towards mid or late 2021, before they will begin to talk about recovery and getting back to the heights they saw in 2019 or pre-COVID. For the entertainment space, what is it looking like? How soon can they recover? We know it's a ₦1 billion industry, and at the moment, there are still major restrictions. When do you think recoveries will begin to happen, that you begin to see the highs and sentiments also from people? Do you think people will stop coming out for parties? Nigerians love their parties, you know.
Yes, we do. I think it's going to be 50-50. We have people that are doing the 50 people parties that the government has allowed us to do, and people are still rushing to go to those parties. And then we have the people that are not willing to go out to parties like before. So it's going to be 50-50. But I think we'll be really, really ready sometime in 2021 as well, probably September. But we're ready to move now. But in terms of going back to our 1,000, 5,000 parties, probably next year, September. People are still afraid.
All right, so I read an article that says the events business is showing as much prospects as the agriculture, you know, but that it's underreported. Do you think this is true? And why do you think it's so? And what can be done to change the trend of underreporting, if indeed it's true?
Okay. So, first of all, we need the support of the government. We need the government to look at us as a serious industry. Right now, we're classified under the hospitality industry. And when you say hospitality, people think of hotels, they think of restaurants, but they do not think of the event industry. The event industry is an industry on its own. It's a very large industry. We're talking from event planners to decorators to photographers to cameramen to graphic artists. We're talking even welders, painters, builders. It's a large industry. So first, we need the government to look at us as an industry. We need people in the news to look at us as newsworthy as well. And then from there, I'm sure people will begin to see more of what we do, because we do a lot. We do a lot. It's not just weddings. It's not just Ashwebi. It's not just, you know, it's a whole lot.
Certainly, and it's such a shame that the events industry is often downplayed, because the amount of work that goes into events cannot be overstated. And on that note, how do you feel, or how have a lot of events and companies across Nigeria tried to really diversify in order to keep their revenue streams going during this period?
Okay, I would honestly say only 20% of the industry has really been able to diversify, and mostly the caterers. So what we have now is they're doing packed food, Some drinks vendors are doing bottled drinks. Some of our fruit vendors are doing fruits in a basket, fruits in little packs and things like that. But really, it's really been about 20% of the industry that has been able to diversify. Some of the decorators have gone into interiors, but then how many people really want people in their homes, in their offices, trying to make the space look good? So really, it's just 20% that have been able to diversify in the industry.
All right, GBEMISOLA, since you're speaking about diversification and maybe even pivoting, so what are the biggest lessons that can be learned and that has been learned, especially for an industry which several people said were bulletproof? Because recession, in recession, out of recession, Nigerians would always find a reason to celebrate. But COVID has shot that in the leg, literally. What are the lessons that have been learned?
Okay, the first lesson is we need to amend our contracts. We've lost so much because clients are asking for refunds. These are refunds we can't get back because we already started planning events. Venues are not giving us refunds. The musicians are not giving us refunds. So first of all, we need to amend our contracts. Secondly, we need to continue to learn. We need to go online. Everybody is online. It's the internet world now. So we need to find ways. I mean, we started with the Zoom parties and things like that. So we need to find ways to bring our services online as well. Also, we need to start thinking plan ABC, diversifying into different areas of events that we've not tapped into. So,
you know, when you talked about renewing your contract, really, my heart went out to you people, that you're going to have to pay back. Yeah. I practically opened my mouth. That's quite huge. Yes. I just hope that somehow things will work out for you people. Now, let's talk about growth. How can the growth of this industry be adequately and correctly tracked and its huge potential? We know it does have a huge potential. Recognized. I said this because research agencies, you alluded to this earlier on, always bundle the events and meeting sector with the hospitality and tourism as well as entertainment center. So how can we break it down up and correctly track, adequately track, and realize the huge potential this industry has?
Like I said earlier, we need the government to take us serious. We need the government to see us as an industry. It is so key. They need to see us as an industry. And when they do, they would begin to track us.
When you say government see you as an industry, what exactly, because they're listening,
okay.
So what exactly are you saying?
So we need a ministry. We need a ministry of our own. Honestly, we do. We need a ministry of our own. If they're keeping us in tourism, then they need to have something for the event industry. Let me give you an example. So recently, Lagos State came out with a grant for the hospitality industry. We weren't part of the grant. They had several meetings with the entertainment industry. We were not part of it. So they honestly need to recognize us. They had a survey that they sent around for people to fill. We were not part of it. You know, so there is no way they will track us if they do not include us. They need to include us. So we have this association where we are tracking ourselves. We have information on the industry and so many other things attached to the industry. So once they recognize us, we can provide all those things to them, and they can also, you know, come to us and visit the industry and know the extent to which we can, what's the word now?
Well, influence the economy, be part of the economy, really.
I mean, it is contributing largely to the economy, so it should be taken seriously. Many thanks to you, GBEMISOLA, for joining us today on Newsday, the president of the Association of Party Organizers and Event Managers.